What's going on, guys? Welcome back to the channel. I hope your weekend's doing good. I know mine is. I just got back into the gym for the first time in like 3 years. I feel awesome, really clear up here, and that's a complete 180 from how I was the past few weeks. I'm gonna be honest with you guys, I don't really know what to do today. If you remember last week's video, if you watched it, this car was supposed to be wrapped by now. It was supposed to have a whole new look, everything like that. That's what this video was. So if you're disappointed, I'm truly sorry. It's a little bit out of my bounds. Let's just say I'm getting ghosted, right? Not entirely ghosted, but he'll respond maybe once a week, maybe once every other week, and I can't get anything rolling. I can't get anything on the schedule. So I don't know if he's really busy. That's probably what it is. No hate, but man, it really sucks when I make a promise to you guys and it doesn't happen. So that video will come out when it comes out. Let's just say that. I'm not going to say it's next week. I'm not going to say it's the week after. I'm going to drop it by surprise this time. So yeah, today I'm just going to play it by ear. This car is extremely dirty. I'm thinking that's what we'll do. We'll probably get this out. And I do have to empty my catch can like I do every weekend. It was smoking a little bit out the back again. So I'm going to do that off camera just because it's really boring and you can't even see anything anyway. And then this one, if you guys remember last year, you know, over the fall, whatever, we're having like a fuel filler issue that I was never able to fix. I thought I fixed it, but it's still just as bad. So basically, when you put the pump in there, right, and you pull it, click it, right, so it goes automatic, it probably goes for about 30 seconds before it clicks off. And then you squeeze it again and it clicks. Squeeze, click, squeeze, click. And then if you keep doing that, fuel starts running out this bottom and it starts pooling up down near the back wheel there. And the reason for that is, I'll be able to show you back there in better light, but basically one of the breather hoses isn't hooked up to where like the filler neck is. So when you're putting air into the tank, or when you're putting gas into the tank, the air has nowhere to go. So it's just like spitting the gas back up through the filler, which is why the pump clicks every time. So hopefully I can look at that. Hopefully I can fix it. I have looked at it before, and the hose is like not quite long enough to reach where it's supposed to. And also the filler, I feel like, is in there a little bit twisted. So I think that'll be the fix. So yeah, let me empty the catch can off camera, get this thing pulled out, and we'll look at that, see if it'll hold gas. Then we'll be able to go fill it up, take it to the car wash. So I do not have enough gas to get to the car wash. I probably have just enough gas to get to the gas station, that's it. And if we have enough time after that, I want to take the Grom out for its first ride this year. First ride in 2025, I'm super excited about that. I know the battery is dead, it won't start, so I'll just have to kickstart it. I'll have to jump start it out here. It's a really light bike, so it's easy to do. Then maybe we'll take it around the block a little bit. I'm super actually excited for that. It's a little bit chilly today, but maybe we'll just go for a quick like 2-minute ride just to get on it, just to say we had it out. So stay tuned for the end of the video if you want to see that. Just so you guys can see what I'm talking about, I'm going to start it up real quick and see if it's still smoking out the back. When I was heading home from the gym, I noticed quite a bit of smoke billowing up behind me, like did a rear view. So I think the catch can's full again and it's pushing the oil back through the exhaust. It's not as bad as it was when I thought the engine blew up or the turbo blew up, but it's still pretty bad. Shows that I need to empty it. I don't know why it's happening once a week like this. It's really alarming. Like, I wonder if something else is going on with my engine. The performance shop that I bought it to said, no, my engine's fine, but geez, I don't know. I guess the only way we'll be able to tell is if it still does that when it's like 60, 70, 80 degrees out and it's filling up once a week, then we got an issue. But yeah, let's see. It's already warm too. So you know what? It's probably not going to do it. I'll let it run for maybe couple minutes here, see if it starts billowing up, but I don't think so. Also, guys, what do you think about the tail lights associated with the door being open? I tend to like it. It does look a little weird, but it's pretty cool. All right. I actually had somebody at work tell me that they think my brake light's out because they saw my door was open. I'm like, nope, that's just how it is. If you're wondering how to do that on Volkswagen or Audi cars, the app is called OBD11, and you need to buy a OBD11 port to go in there, and you can customize like a bunch of stuff about the car, including that. You can do like, so I mean, obviously certain cars have different features. I'm pretty sure there's like a sequential option too, but these taillights aren't sequential as it is, so I can't turn that on, sadly. There's other stuff like steering feel. I actually adjusted it to 80% instead of 100%, so it's a little bit tighter. Honestly, I think I'm going to go more like 50%, just so you have a lot tighter steering. for performance, obviously. Other things you can do are like, I mean, it's got a full diagnostic mode, so it'll tell you everything that's wrong. Although I don't have any codes, I have like 15 things that are wrong with this car, including the gas pump thing here. Even with all the doors unlocked, it won't open, and every single time I have to go in here and I have to pull this cord every single time I fill up gas, because there's a solenoid that went out allowing this thing to open. So again, all the doors are unlocked, but it still doesn't open, and I have to do that. So it tells me that. It tells me exactly which solenoid it is, which is pretty cool. I honestly forgot what a lot of the other things were, but they weren't major, otherwise I would have fixed them right away. But yeah, that's a really cool feature of that app. So yeah, it's not really smoking too much. I mean, you can kind of see it. I can't. Can you see it? No, it's not even showing up on the camera. I can see it. I just shut it off so you guys can hear me a little bit better. But yeah, I am looking at an S3 valve catback. I'm gonna order that actually tonight. Hopefully it'll be here in less than a month, so I can put that on. And that'll get rid of all these like traces of oil that are all up and down the pipes. Can I get low enough to see it? Yeah. I mean, pretty much. So like these two mufflers right here, these Borla catback mufflers, I've had for about 3 years, and they've been filling with condensation over time. And then when that oil issue happened, when I thought my turbo blew, they literally got full of oil. So like if this sits for a couple of days, there will be pools, there will be puddles underneath each muffler from all the oil in there. So I'm gonna get that replaced, and the main reason I want the S3 catback is because it'll be quad tips, and I have a S3 diffuser to put on, an S3 rear bumper. I've been talking about that like every video. Really, I've been waiting to put it on because I don't want to put on a white bumper if I don't have the wrap lined up. So that's why I'm waiting for this guy to get me back, and I keep bugging him. I hate to be like that, but it's like, you guys are waiting, you know? I need to put that bumper on. I was hoping to do that for this video, for this weekend. Obviously didn't happen, so bear with me, guys. Alright, so the interior lights are on. That's a good sign. And I'm not going to be able to fit in here with my shoulders and holding the camera, so I guess I'll just set it back here. That way we can get the rear end cold start too. 99 raw, baby. That's me. It still doesn't like idling yet. I think it just needs to be driven more. Also, Nick and I were looking at it last weekend, and we think maybe it's got a slight misfire going on. I mean, I knew this engine is very, very limited. I've got 193,000 miles on it, so that's what I've been talking about, getting the swap for so long. Like, this car, I want it to make about like 550 to the wheel. I think would be perfect. There's no way I'm getting 550 out of this motor, and if I do, it's gonna blow in like the first drive. So yeah, I'm still trying to decide, like, if I go with another 4.6 and go Paxton with it or something like that, like a centrifugal supercharger, or if I go like 5.0 Coyote with a Whipple, which I think I kind of like that idea better, with, you know, big old blower on the 5.0. I love the way the Coyotes sound, but I do like the 4.6 is better in terms of sound, especially that high-end screaming. I really don't know, but there's a lot that has to happen before we do that. I think I've got the money saved up for at least an engine and a transmission, but nothing else. Like the Holley EFI kit, I'm gonna have to save up for a shop. Like, I mean, I don't know about you guys, but you see me doing an engine swap right here? I don't see it. Like, maybe a weekend. Like, we can work on it for a weekend here, but during the week it's got to stay disassembled, and we're gonna have stuff everywhere, and it's definitely not gonna take a weekend to do a swap. It's probably gonna take a few months. So that's what I'm dealing with here. I wanted it to happen like now. I wanted to be working on the swap, but yeah, there's a lot of other things going on, and I spent a lot of money on the Audi over the winter that I didn't think I'd be spending, so there's that too. So I'm just going to keep butting around with the high mileage 2-valve motor, and it's a lot of fun, you know. It's just not as fast as I'd want it to be for a American V8 muscle car. You know, the Audi will still walk this car from a roll, which we should probably do soon. Maybe I'll get Nick to hop in one of the cars and I'll get in the other one. We'll do some roll racing. But I already know the Stage 2 A3 is going to smoke this car at its current setup. So, or maybe not. I don't know. I think it would, though. So here's what I'm dealing with here. When we did the fuel filler grommet replacement, which is on my channel from like September, I think, we broke the filler neck going in because it was so old and cracked that like it snapped off when we were trying to force it back in. So we put a new one in here, but it's not quite the same in terms of where the hoses and fittings are. So you can see this is the breather here that I was talking about, and it's hooked up to outside there. It's hooked up here, but where it's not hooked up is... This car's so much harder on coilovers. Those BCs on there. Right here, it's not hooked up. And so it's just barely touching, but it won't go on enough to click into place. So this hose goes into the side of the tank right here, and it displaces air. So the more and more fuel you put into the tank, it's got to displace an equal amount of air back out, and it's not. Now, in theory, it should just displace out here, but I don't think it's pressured right, or I don't even know what the word is. It's got to hook up to there to be able to displace that air. So this hose just isn't long enough, and I don't want to force it because it's really old and dry. So what I'm going to try to do, and you can see right here, doesn't it look like that's kind of twisted a little bit? At least it does to me. So I'm going to try to go up top there, undo the bolts, and rotate this whole thing like 90 degrees, or maybe even 45 degrees, and see if this hose will want to hook up then. And this is where the old one broke. When we were trying to force it back into the tank, we had to replace this grommet because it was leaking. Anytime you fill it up over a half tank, it would just leak the rest of that gas out because this grommet was going. So we replaced the grommet, and when we were shoving this thing back in here, it just snapped and broke, the old one. So we replaced it with this one. Like I said, it's not quite the same. Like, these holes are in different spots. So yeah, I'm gonna try that because it really sucks. To get like a quarter of a tank even, it takes me like a half hour at the gas station, and that's not fun at all. So yeah, let me see what I can do. Okay, so here's what I've done. I'm completely taking this hose off, and what I realized is that it was pushed way onto the fitting, which is how it's supposed to be, so that you can see where the clamp was, and the fitting's probably about that long. What I'm going to do is, we don't need it to be on the fitting that far, so I'm going to connect this first to where it's leaking from, and then run this over. So I could just get a longer hose. Two things. I don't know if I'm going to be able to find this exact hose. I could probably make something work from Ace Hardware, and then I would have to get this fitting put on there. The other thing is that when we do the engine swap on this car and the full Holley EFI and everything, I'm going to get a big old fuel cell in here. So we're going to completely get rid of the fuel tank, and that's going to change the way that this runs into there. So I think there's no point in going to do a whole custom hose if I can just try this first, seeing as we're going to completely replace the fuel system anyway. But yeah, let's see if that works. I'm not going to be able to do this with one hand, but I'm just showing you. So I'm going to put this on first, as far as it'll go, clamp it down with this guy, and then I'm going to connect the other end to that hole there, because it doesn't need to be all the way on there. And that should be a nice little temporary fix. And then you can see this, I had to undo this one too for the other side. I think it's just, I think this is for a different Mustang. Maybe it's for the V6. It said it was for the 99 to 2004, but honestly, it could have been for the V6. And I didn't question it because I figured they'd all be the same, but maybe they're different. I don't know. I really don't. And honestly, if this hose was more flexible, it's rigid. It's rigid. Like, you can't bend it at all. If it was more flexible, I could probably get it on there the way it was, but I think this is gonna work. So let me see. Okay, so I've got that side of the breather all tightened down so the hose won't pop off, and you can see it's not all the way on there, but I needed to do that so I can get a little extra hose. And now it's connected where it should be. Well, My only worry if this is gonna work or not is that didn't really like click in. It's just kind of chilling there. Should work though. All right. If I wiggle it, it only wiggles in the middle. It doesn't wiggle on that fitting. It doesn't wiggle on that fitting either. So I think we're good. So only one way to find out. So let's head over to the gas station and see if it goes more than 5 seconds without spilling out everywhere. Actually, by the way, it actually feeds out like right up there. It's too dark to see, but you can feel it with your fingers. And then there's the other smaller hose comes out right there. And no, this billet ring is not covering it up. There's a little hole there where the air can escape still. So you can see where those two go. Right there. So the last thing I gotta do is tighten this guy back down, and then we'll see if that fixed it. Ooh, I'm excited. Regardless of the outcome with the gas thing, I'm just excited to get on the road with this thing. Slamming through gears again. Man, is it boring driving an automatic all winter, man. I mean, not to complain, it's a nice car. And at least it's a DSG, so it's got the manual stick mode, and it feels like you're shifting through gears. Yep, still doing it. I don't know what the issue is. I really don't. That's strange. You see it just comes right back up. Oh well, I'm gonna be here a while. Alright, so my battery died while I was at the gas station. And yeah, it looks like it's still doing it. So at this point, it can't be the hoses, so I'm thinking it's the actual breather valve itself, which is like somewhere on the top of the tank. They're about $100 on American Muscle. So I think that's my next try, is to either buy that, or maybe I'll just commit to the engine swap and do the whole fuel cell that I was talking about and everything like that. But you could tell I didn't go to wash it, because one thing I noticed just driving it is the suspension feels a little bit wonky. It does not feel like it was last summer. Last summer it was very stiff and tight, and like you could throw it around and do whatever, but just like it felt really, really soft. And also I noticed it's like tilting to the side. You probably can't see it on camera, but if I hold it 100% level, actually yeah, you can a little bit. So I'm using the level on my camera right now, and it's slightly that way, right? That side is a little bit lower, it looks like. I don't know. But you can also notice it, the wheel gap. Try to memorize that wheel gap, alright? Versus that wheel gap looks a little bit smaller. So one thing that I'm gonna do, which I probably should have done, but I think it's perfect time for it anyways, jack it up and check everything that I did with the torque wrench, check all my torque specs, see if anything's loosened up. Sucks because that's going to take me a little while and it might be dark by then, but I think it's a safe bet. I don't want to drive like a mile and a half to the car wash and something happen, you know, God forbid. So I did change the I changed over to coilovers all around, and I did new control arms everywhere too. So pretty much a full suspension rebuild. If you guys missed that video, you can click right up here, I think, unless this camera is like flipped around, but either one of the corners I'll put the link to the full suspension rebuild. Actually, it was a few videos, but I'll link the first one, and then if you guys can go check that out, that would be amazing. But yeah, I'm just gonna have to get it lifted up. Sucks, last weekend I just had that car lifted up, so I don't know, it never ends around here, but hopefully I can do it quick enough to where I can still go over to the gas station and still take the bike out. If not, that'll be able to be a different video, I think. So yeah, I'm not going to take the camera under there, really. I'm just going to check the all four control, actually, shit, there's upper and lower control arms in the rear, so technically 6 control arms. I'm going to check all those torque specs, and then I'm also going to check the torque specs on the coilovers themselves, and I'm going to do some measuring. I'm going to measure with the tape, because another thing that can happen is your coilovers will settle over the course of 6 months or whatever, and it was sitting in here for a while too. It would just really annoy me if that one settled more than this one. Like, that's really weird. So I'm gonna get a tape measure and see if they're actually adjusted the same way, because I didn't adjust them at all. I just threw them right on the car how they came, so maybe that's my problem. But it definitely feels a lot looser than it did last year, and again, that could just be the suspension settling. And these coilovers are fully adjustable, so if I don't like that it's that loose, I can adjust the dampening and it'll be tighter. That way I can, like I said, throw it into corners. It's really good for doing donuts and stuff like that because the car's not rocking. It's solid, planted. That's how I want it to be. That's the whole point of having coilovers, right? So yeah, I'm gonna get this done. I'll let you guys know what happens. All right, so I just got done checking the fronts. Basically, we got that where that control arm meets up there. Check that bolt and that nut. And then the other side right there. And then I checked both the bolts for the coilover. One is right there, and then the other one is below. I'm not gonna be able to show you. And then where the control arm connects to the back side of this disc here. I did the same on this side, obviously. And then I just have to do the rears. So it's getting pretty dark here. Sun's going down. Beautiful sunset today, so I'm gonna enjoy that while I'm doing the rears here. Finished draining, obviously. The catch can takes about 5 minutes to drain, so it's been empty. But yeah, guys, just something interesting. The suspension did settle a lot because I couldn't even fit the jack under the side skirts. I actually had to back it up onto the ramps in order to get it in there, which was not the case last year. So 100% lower over the winter just from sitting. And the rear too, obviously. I couldn't even get the jack in back here to lift it up from the rear diff. It was just too low, so definitely did settle. Nothing was loose, so I'm assuming it's going to be the same for this side. I'm going to check it, obviously. I think it's just settled weird. I do have to get this car in for an alignment, and I think while I do it, I'm going to pay extra and do like a performance alignment and have them check the coilovers, make sure that they're all even. Because I did notice it looked like it was squatting a little bit too, like definitely lower back there than it was up here, so I want to get that all dialed in. On this car, tonight I'm going to order a new duckbill because, I mean, I like this high kick, but I want a carbon fiber one, and I haven't found any. I'll try and find a carbon fiber one like this, but the ones that I've seen are a lot smaller, lower profile, but they are more aggressive looking than like just a smooth like this. Because when I get this car wrapped, whenever the fuck, it's gonna, obviously, like, they're gonna have to take it off the wrap. I don't want them just to stop right here, and I don't want them to wrap this that same color. I want this to be an offset. Like carbon fiber, I think would be perfect, better than the matte black in my opinion. And so I'm gonna order that. I'm gonna order the S3 valved catback, and I'm gonna order a carbon fiber front splitter for the bumper, because that's all the front end's missing, really, in my opinion. I do have some like RGB headlight circles, so pretty much if you see that chrome piece, it replaces that, like halos. I think that's gonna be really sick too. That'll be the last thing really for the front end. But yeah, a splitter I think is what this car needs. Underneath that, oh, where's my hand? There it is. Yeah, like underneath, right there, carbon fiber. I've got the carbon fiber side skirts to put on too, so it'll literally be carbon all the way around. I already have the diffuser too. And then the duckbill, carbon fiber duckbill. So that's what's gonna be nice for this car. Again, I really hope I can get that out to you guys next weekend. But again, it's not up to me. I'm getting ghosted over here. I don't know what to do. Like, maybe just start calling him every single day. I don't know. He did say he should free up a little bit around April 7th and 8th. So if I don't hear back from him by then I'll start calling. But for now, I mean, respect, you know, I'll give him the time. He's probably booked as hell because it is springtime and everyone's trying to get in for their wraps. So, hey, who knows? Maybe they were getting booked in February or January, you know, and they already had it reserved, and I didn't, right? So it is partially on me. I waited until about 3 weeks ago to start talking to him. So I thought that would be enough, but hey, I'm new to this, so yeah, I'm gonna get this wrapped up off camera. Just have to check the rear. I shouldn't have to take the wheels off. Everything should be accessible from underneath here. And then the fuel issue, we're just gonna have to, I'm gonna have to decide if I want to get that relay solenoid, whatever you want to call it, type thing, or if I'm just going to deal with it. It really just depends how long it's going to be until we do the swap. I don't know. Again, I'm going to need a shop for that. So if you guys want to see me succeed and want to see me get a shop and a lift and full send with this engine swap and everything else, then please like this video, subscribe, comment, support me in any way that you can, share this with your friends. Really, I just needed this to get off the ground. I still have like 115, 130 subscribers, and that's just not enough, guys. Like, come on. I'm eternally grateful for those of you who are subscribed, but if you come across this video and you're not subscribed, like, come on, man. I upload one every Sunday. It's always going to be stuff with this car, that car. I've got a ground back there in the shed too, which I'm going to get out. I'm not going to be able to do today like I was talking about, but it is what it is. Maybe I'll make a dedicated video for that next weekend if we don't have the wrap ready. And yeah, as always, let me know what you think about this. Let me know what I should try. Let me know what I should do, if I should start saving up my money for another project car. But first, obviously, shop comes first. I'm not going to be able to fit anything else here in this small ass driveway. So yeah, as always, guys, I'll see you next Sunday. Stay objective driven.